Hello, hello. How's it going, boys?
Week 14.
Madden.
Sunday football here for week 14. Let's jump right in. First game, nice and early, 1 o'clock. Tampa Bay Buccaneers going into the Atlanta Falcons, who are Atlanta's a 1.5 point favorite here, and they're currently at the lead of the division. But Bucks looking to take that from them here this week with a win. Their last matchup was week 6, 7, I want to say, ballpark of their area, and the Falcons took that one 16-13. Wasn't a pretty game for either team. You think it's a similar play out, or you think the Tampa Bay can run with it, or can pass with it, or Atlanta can run with it? What do you guys think?
I feel like I got more trust in the balance of the Bucks offense here lately. I want to roll Baker over Ritter here too. I don't like that the point spread's starting to trend down towards the Bucks because I really wanted to say just give me the Bucks with the 2.5. So the fact that it's down another point, not as happy about it because I feel like it's going to be a really close game. But I feel like the Bucks can go in here and win this one. Mike Evans having a stellar year, and I think for the most part, the Bucks playing better on both sides of the ball. It's hard to trust the Bucks still. They finally got off the schneid and got the dub last week, hung on against Carolina. I think this is going to be a one-score game throughout the game. I think it's going to be nip and tuck, very tight divisional battle. But I'll side with the Bucks. I got the Bucks. How about you, Ed?
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to take the Bucks here with the points. I'm going to take the under just cuz I don't know, if these offenses are going to ball out. They're two pretty decent defenses here. So I just feel comfortable with taking the Bucks and their defense here at home at Atlanta on the away game. They're 2-4. Atlanta's 4-2 at home. But I just think the Bucks match up well here, and I think that they're going to end up nudging this one out potentially by a field goal, end up winning it by two, something along those lines. There, they lost the last game, uh, but that's why I'm taking the under because it was a very low scoring game. Mayfield was playing very well. They still ended up losing that game 16-13. But I'm not going to take this sweep, and I think the Bucks will finish strong here down the stretch. How about you, Brady?
Yeah, this one was a tough one to call because I mean I'm a Bucks fan, so I want to vote for the Bucks. But then I'm looking at things and how things their strengths and weaknesses, and both teams, offensively strength is going up against the opposing team's defensively strength. Right, Atlanta's a hard team to pass on, and that's the Bucks' bread and butter right now. The Bucks are an above average team, run defense wise, and that's the bread and butter for the Falcons. So it's who's going to have the better game defensively, and it probably couldn't be another ugly match similar to the last time they faced. So I'd probably go with the under as well. But I do like the Tampa Bay Buccaneers here because I was looking at the previous games for the Atlanta Falcons, and like they're on a 2 game win streak here. And if New Orleans was able to find the end zone, they probably would have lost that game as well. But they kept them out the end zone there. But you got the quarterbacks like from Arizona, Minnesota, and Tennessee. Will Levis first game, Kyler Murray's first game, Josh Dobbs first game.
The Jets
These
quarterbacks.
yeah, the Jets quarterbacks. They only put up 8, but it is what it is. But at the end of the day, they're having trouble with quarterbacks passing the ball of late. So I think the Bucks can steal this one and take the top of the division for the time being.
Hats off to,
Agreed.
yeah, I mean, hats off to Evans and just being
Yeah,
an
still
absolute
doing it.
stud at wide receiver. To have his size as big as he is and to be as consistent as he is, geez, hats off to him and his training and the work that he puts in, man. A testament to what happens when you really put in work to do your craft.
Yeah,
This
true
could be the
professional.
result for sure. Absolute stud. Needs to be brought up.
Absolutely. Next game though, jumping over the Indianapolis Colts 7-5 going in the Cincinnati Bengals here 6-6. Indianapolis is a 1 point favorite here in Cincy. You get a little backup quarterback on backup quarterback action here with Gardner Minshew going into facing Jake Browning. How do you guys think this one shakes out? Does Browning surprise teams again and get another victory, or the Colts a little bit trying to get well rounded here and maybe a little shock here late into the playoff push. How do you guys think it works out?
The first thing I looked at here was the game total at 43. The Colts over in their last games and almost all season has been healthy, so I like the over in this game. I think both teams are going to get into the 20s. I was back and forth. This was probably one of the more difficult games to call. Obviously, that Bengals win, fresh in my mind. T. Higgins was finally healthy back out on the field. Just seeing how many weapons that the Bengals have, getting some capable quarterbacking from Jake Browning last week, and some hard running from Mixon. They sprinkled in the rookie. Had finally got to see Chaz Brown out there, and he had a little burst to him. So hopefully they continue that and continue to work him in with a nice little 1-2 punch there. I think it's going to be a really good game. I'm a side with the Colts though. Like I've been going against the Colts all year long, and they're one of those teams that has found a way to win. They cause turnovers, they make big plays, special team plays last week against Tennessee. So although you know, at a roster glance, I like the Bengals roster better. Um, the Colts have proven me wrong all season. There's no reason for me to really hands down go against them in this game. So I'll go Colts here. Plus their field goal kicker's been very clutch for them all season as well. And sometimes it's little things like that that matter. So give me the Colts. How about you, Ed?
Yeah, this one was a real tough one, simply because of exactly what you had brought up. Uh, the last game that they ended up playing, Monday night overtime game, absolute incredible game. Trevor Lawrence goes down. Browning was playing an absolute stud of a game, only one touchdown, no interceptions, 354 yards, 37 attempts, 32 completions. I mean, absolute incredible game. But with that being said, Indy is playing well. Gardner Minshew is in the mix and has been for weeks. They're really good
Getting it done.
away. They're really good away. 5-1. The Indianapolis Colts are away. They're 7-5. So I mean, they're just really good on the road. And I'm gonna take the Colts here. I think that they're just gonna keep that moving and rolling on the road and just keep that really good road record rolling. I'll take the points. The Colts giving up the 1.5, and I'll also take the under here. I just don't know how good Browning's going to be against this Colts defense. We'll see what ends up happening. How about you, Brabe?
Yeah, I'm not going to be part of that fan club of the Browning, Cinderella story. Like, hey, next man up, he's going to be throwing touchdowns and 300-yard games every game again. I think that shock and awe factor is gone. I think the game film's coming out now, and then you can prepare for him, right? There was, how's this offense going to look, and they're able to just get, find the right reads, find the quick reads for him, and I think that's over with now. And I think the Colts defense is too quick, too fast, and all over the place for them to find success as well as they did against Jacksonville. So I like the Indianapolis Colts as well here.
Yeah, that's a good take. And
Push.
just something to keep in the back pocket. Back-to-back road games in the NFL, that second game traditionally is really tough on an NFL team, and that's across the board. So keep that in mind about choosing which way you end up going on this one.
Well said.
All right. Next game here, another another interesting backup quarterback matchup of the Jacksonville Jaguars, 8-4, going into the Cleveland Browns, 7-5. Another fun one. Like I said, you get was it C.J. Beathard versus Joe Flacco action? And that's interesting take here, but Cleveland's a 3-point favorite. Cleveland's a 3-point favorite here at home. Is that how you think this shakes out? You think the veteran Joe Flacco can hold it strong, or this young Jaguars team finds a way to be scrappy and take a victory?
Yeah, I like the Browns here. I think that defense bounces back. They got kind of taken to the woodshed in LA last week against the Rams. I think they got a pretty good deal of pride, and if they're going to stay in the playoff mix, that's the unit that's going to help them stay there. Flacco was good I mean, honestly, Joe Flacco was good. I'm sure the Jets were regretting letting him go. He was better than everybody they put forward this season. But I think the Browns are capable. You know, they've got their share of the injuries, obviously. But I think they can put together a good game plan. They're well coached. And Trevor not being there, and then you talk about Christian Kirk with that abdomen groin slash injury. He's going to miss multiple weeks. I don't plan on Trevor Lawrence being at this game either. So you take those two guys out of the mix. I think those are massive hits for the Jags. They're going to have to, stay above water because if this thing goes how I think it's going to go with the Colts and then the Browns winning, this is a divisional race that's just nip and tuck. So I got the Browns. I got the under on this one, even though it's a low 30 and a half. I can see this being a 17 type 10 type game, 17-13 type game. So I don't really mind dropping the three. I don't love it. I'd rather just go money line with the Browns, but give me Cleveland. How about you, Ed?
Yeah, I mean, looking like we're sweeping a lot today here, folks. Sorry about that. But I'm taking the Browns as well. I just think that if I'm going to pick a team that's going to be able to have room for mistake, it's going to be the team with the number one defense in the league. I think Joe Flacco has been on teams with incredible defenses and really good run games. I think that this is a team he's had in a Ravens type situation before. I think that he can come out, and I think on this day he could win one. I'll take the Browns giving up the points, but I'm definitely going to take the under because I just don't know what I'm going to get out of Jacksonville's quarterback. I don't know how many points he's going to be able to muster up against the number one defense. And to be quite frank, I don't know how many points Flacco's going to be able to score, but I think it'll be a total of under 30, so I'm going to take the under here, folks. How about you, Bray?
I almost want to take Jacksonville just for the fun argument sake of it, but it's hard for me to
Number one
picture
defense.
it's hard for me to
Jags
picture.
defense, no slouches either, though.
Yeah. But it's hard for me to picture a scenario of making that Cinderella story argument for a CJ Beathard leading the Jacksonville Jaguars. I think Trevor Lawrence is a special product to that system going on down there, and I don't think another guy can come in and make something a little bit of magic happen. I think he is the magic happening right now for them. So without him, I think it's a slow pace offense. But again, I agree with you guys as well. I think it's definitely going to be on the under. But I'd go Cleveland Browns as well.
So you don't anticipate him being the Nick Folds to the Carson Wentz type of situation.
No.
League and
Yeah, I've seen Beathard a couple of times get some spot starts in San Francisco and not impressed.
Yeah.
Wasn't impressed with what he did against the Bengals. Definitely didn't look like a guy that was necessarily ready to take over, but he played well enough. Kept him in it for the time he was there. I feel like the Browns would have won that game even if Lawrence was in there, though. They played a great game.
All right. Next game, Houston Texans, 7-5. Continuing this AFC South fight, going into the New York Jets, who are 4-8. Houston's a 3.5-point favorite here. Is Jets defense enough to slow down CJ Stroud and give their team a chance, or is the lackluster missing offense just nowhere to be seen?
I have the Jets. I'm disappointed in myself, but I have the Jets here. I think this is going to be a low score. This is another one I like the under on the road. Well, obviously CJ Stroud has carried the Texans. They're going to run into a pass defense that is going to be unlike probably one that they've faced so far this season. I think that's going to cause some problems. I haven't seen enough from the running game consistently with Houston to let me know that they can play a little bit more balanced if need be. Their defense has kind of been hit or miss, making plays when they need to. They did get some really good turnovers. I'm impressed from what I've seen from Will Anderson last week, a couple of sacks, forced an interception as well. So he's starting to come on. So there's lots to love about the Texans, and there's lots not to really like about the Jets too, obviously. But I think this is just one of those spot games where I like the Texans better, but I think the Jets are going to get the win. If I was just playing spread, especially, I'd definitely take the 4.5 with the Jets. I think they turned this one into a grimy game, and this feels like a learning curve type of game for a young Houston team and coaching staff. This should be a battle. How about you, Ed?
Yeah, for sure. I definitely think that this is going to be a hell of a game. You know, number 9 Jets defense going up against number 6 ranked offense of the Texans. 31st ranked defense against the Texans' 19th ranked
Number
defense.
six.
I
Crazy.
think I potentially think that I'm not trying to crown the kid already, but because the season's not even over yet. But I just think the progression of this young man, week in and week out, he's played some pretty savage defenses and not turned the ball over. So I'm very
Yeah,
confident in what it is that he has been doing. 20 for 5. I'll take that, man. 20 touchdowns to 5 interceptions, 63.4 completion percentage,
unbelievable.
35-40 on the yards. He's leading the league in passing yards. I'm going to take the Texans here simply because of the quarterback situation. I just don't know what Zach's going to come and do for us. Is Zach Wilson going to come and be, the guy who came in and won the game against the Buffalo Bills, or even showed up and showed out, in my mind, against the Kansas City Chiefs and almost won that game for them? Or are we just going to get the guy who threw his 6 interceptions to the New England Patriots defense? I don't know which guy we're going to get, but I know exactly which Texans guy we're going to get. And we're going to get a kid that can go out there and play the quarterback position like no other at the rookie position in a rookie scenario. So I'm taking the Texans here. I'm going to go ahead and take the Texans giving up the 3.5, and I'll take the over just because I don't know what I'm going to get from Wilson. How about you, Brad?
Strong take.
That's very strong, very good take. I mean, did they officially name Wilson the starter again? Because I mean, I know they've released the guy that replaced him there last week, so I don't even
I've
know what
heard
they're doing
I
I've
don't
anymore.
heard a
know.
lot of conflicting reports.
They're
I don't
trying to
know.
find a Kurt Warner at their local Publix right now.
Very
I
much so.
don't I don't even know what's going on. So that's my thought process is even if you allow Zach Wilson to play again, his confidence level, if it wasn't shot before, it's shot now. And him trying to muster up any sort of offense when he's got players and coaches around him telling him he's not good enough. It's
I
hard for
think
me to
he's got
picture
Aaron
them.
Rodgers in his corner, though. I think Aaron Rodgers is in his corner right now.
I don't trust Aaron Rodgers. That man's not nice to anybody.
That's fair.
That man wouldn't help an old lady with groceries. All right, let's be honest here.
I got to say, he was defending him on the McAfee show, so he was defending him. He was even taking shots at the organization and taking
Yeah, he
shots.
was he was he was high on ayahuasca. Relax, all right.
I'll give you that. I'll
It's
calm
shit,
down.
Brady.
I'm sorry for
Yeah,
Finish
that.
it up.
no,
Finish it up,
no,
baby.
I can't trust the Jets offensively to give me more than 15 points, and I think you're going to need 20 to beat the Texans, even if your defense shows up strong. So that's why I got to go with the Houston Texans here.
Love it.
Fair. Very fair.
Alrighty, next game here. Could be a fun one here. You got the Los Angeles Rams 6-6 going into the Baltimore Ravens 9-3. Baltimore is a 7-point favorite here, but if you look at last week, what the Rams did to this number one defense of the Cleveland Browns, I understand they don't have the offense of what Baltimore's showing up right now with, but they could give Baltimore trouble here. What do you guys think?
I like the Ravens here. I mean, the Ravens absolutely crushed the Seahawks. They crushed the Cardinals. I think I really feel like they could do the same thing to the Rams. Rams on the road feel like a little bit different of a beast than Rams at home on the turf. Um, Give me the Ravens. Give me dropping 7. Feel like they're legit, title contenders in the AFC. Coming off the bye, so they're going to be a little bit more fresh, and that's good for a team like Baltimore, who predicates their game on smash mouth physicality. I feel like at this point in the season, they're kind of the AFC version of the San Francisco 49ers, to where the quarterback's operating good enough, not doing anything wow wise, letting their weapons take care of business, strong defense, and handling opponents when they need to. with the exception of the Colts game early in the season, but we can see that the Colts have done that to many people. Baltimore's been just straight taking care of business, and I don't see a slip up here at home in this particular scenario with the number one seed on the line. You got a veteran coaching staff and Harbaugh and them boys. So, yeah, give me the Ravens. I don't mind dropping the 7 in this one. Over under a 40, I feel like it should get over, but I feel like the Ravens could smother the Rams. How about you, Ed?
Yeah, I mean, I love the Ravens and Lamar and what they've been doing this year, and how that defense completely 110% turned around from a season ago of not being able to cover a pass, being an absolute
Absolutely.
sieve, and just letting just anything walk by. I mean, a mother with a baby in a stroller is allowed to just walk by and get a TD on
Ever
empty.
since they got Roquan,
And then,
it's been a
yeah,
turnaround.
and this season has been absolute Ravens all the way. I mean, they got 3 losses, 2 at home, 1 on the road. I mean, they're just playing well. And in the same breath, you could say the same thing about the Rams.
Yeah.
Just literally just fighting injuries, still coming out on top and staying above 500. And you got to say to yourself, hats off to the coaching staff. I mean, in the beginning of the season, they had 0 rushing yards. They weren't doing anything to move the ball. They get rid of a running back. They breathe life into that running back room, because that coaching staff says, the guys we have on this roster is all we need. Now prove me right. They're going out there, getting the job done week in and week out. Hats off to the Rams and the coaching staff. But I think the Feathers and the Ravens and the Claws are going to be too much on this day, and the Rams won't be able to do anything about it. I'm taking the Rams, giving up the points with the over, because I think Matthew Stafford's not going to lay down for this defense or any other. How about you, Braid?
Fair enough. This one's tough. I almost want to throw the upset alert here and say the Rams can take it, but the way Baltimore, the ceiling of Baltimore, I think, is a lot higher than the ceiling of the Los Angeles Rams. And similarly, the floor is a lot higher for the Baltimore Ravens than it is for the Rams. So they're just a better team. They can put everything together more efficiently. So I like the Baltimore Ravens here. They have too many weapons, and then their defense has what it takes to cover the middle and slow down any crossing routes, and especially with Puka Nacua being banged up, that takes away one of your big threats. So I think it'll be a lot tougher for them to move the ball than the past 3 weeks of their winning streak going on. So that's where I'm at with it. I like Baltimore Ravens. I'm iffy though on the 7-point spread though. I might side with the Rams there.
No doubt. And you know what? Hats off to Puka Nacua, because, pretty much basically from ever since he left high school, he just wasn't supposed to be this good ever. Like, it wasn't, he went to this college. He was overlooked. He led the nation. He was overlooked. He's been overlooked so many times that he finally reached his destination. And young man, Mr. Nacua, you're making your family, your father, and everyone very proud, sir, because no one could allowed you to go unnoticed any longer, sir. Continue on, and I hope you get healthy sooner than later, sir.
Very good take. Ravens top 5 getting after the passer. I think that definitely can cause some problems for the Rams. Just the speed that they possess on defense. Stafford's a veteran. He knows how to execute the offense and get rid of the ball quick. I think he's going to have to practice that early and often.
For sure. 1,029 yards, 4 touchdowns, 77 receptions is more than Zay Flowers' 58 receptions, 613 yards, 2 touchdowns.
Yeah, Puka's balled out.
Nacua, man. Hats off to you, brother.
Alrighty, next game. I think this one will be really fun. AFC or NFC North matchup. The Detroit Lions, 9-3, going to Chicago Bears, who are 4-6. Or 4-8, I apologize. Detroit's a 3.5-point favorite here on the road. But how do you think this one shakes up? I mean, every one of these matchups in this division have been an absolute nail biter and dogfight. I think that's how this one plays out. But what do you guys think?
I want to hit the alert button.
Yeah, Lions 3-1 in their last 4 games, but they have all been one-score games. The Lions may be hitting kind of a plateau at this point in the season. I like the Bears here. I like the Bears for a couple of reasons. Number one, they had the game 3 weeks ago against Detroit. They were leading in the fourth quarter. They were controlling the game. They let that one slip through their fingers. I don't think there's a lot of separation between these two teams. And right now, it's a it's a lot of pressure for everybody not named DJ Moore on the Chicago Bears team. I think just about every player you can go down the roster, including the coaching staff, and say, "Are you to a man going to be on this roster next year?" And that includes Justin Fields. So this is a situation to where the Bears, even being a non-playoff team at this point, they haven't technically been eliminated, but I think this is a massive game for everybody in the Bears organization to prove whether they're staying or going. And, the draft's right around the corner before we know it. And we all know the Bears got 2 of the top 5 picks in the draft. So this could be a needle moving game for the Chicago Bears to help them navigate where they're going to go ultimately in when the draft rolls around in April. But I got the Bears on the upset. I think it's a very close game, but I'll take Chicago.
Yeah,
How about you, Ed?
I really wanted to. I really wanted to, but some just told me that slapping the upset button here is just not feasible. The Lions are trying to win the division. Chicago is trying to figure out what they're going to do next year. I think the Lions being 5-1 away, Chicago being 2-3 at home, divisional game or not, I think this game means more to the Lions than it does for the Bears to upset them. I think I just think that this potentially could end up being a slugfest back and forth potentially. But I'm going to go ahead and take the Lions, given the 3-5. I'll take the over just in case the Bears want to get scrappy. How about you, Brett?
Yeah, this one, I want to say it could be tough, but I also think that this could be the time of the year, the scenario, the cards play right, where the Lions just absolutely run away with it. And I think that's where it's going to play out. I think Detroit, they're coming off a bye. They had an ugly victory over the Minnesota Vikings, and then, they had the embarrassing loss to the Lions the week prior to that. Embarrassing because they let it slip through their fingers, not embarrassingly beat down. I think this week it could be an embarrassing beat down because the Lions, I think, will be ready. I think the Bears still have a lot to prove to say that they can compete with the teams at the top, and I think the Lions are trying to say that they are a team at the top. So I think that's where this one plays out. I think Lions come out firing on all cylinders, and the Bears just can't keep up, and they're going to make mistakes because of that.
I feel like that's how it should play out. And I think if the Lions, like you said, it's a big game for them. I think if the Lions want to be taken seriously, this is definitely a game that they need to win and probably win a little bit convincingly just for kind of some feel goods, in the locker room to like, yeah, we got a shot to go after this top seeds. No one's counting us in there right now. And they're only a couple of games back too. It would take, they got to leapfrog a couple of teams, but they're right there, chomping at the bit for the 1 or 2 seed too in the NFC. So,
Yep.
it's big time game, big time football game, and like you said at the start, it should be a very fun game.
How about Adam Thielen being the leading receiver on the Panthers? How about that?
How about we talk about that
When we get to the Panthers? We're not
That's
even.
all right with you.
We're not with the Panthers right now.
No, I understand completely.
Eddie kickback reading the newspaper.
You got 2 minutes, Eddie. It's the next game. You got 2 minutes. You couldn't hold back.
I can't. That's amazing to me. Is that not amazing? Are we not?
I mean,
No. All right.
Have
no,
you looked
because
at their roster?
I was gonna say, who else are they throwing to?
Sorry.
Get us in the game so
All right,
he
well,
can
sorry.
tell us
since
about
Eddie's
it.
wants to
sorry.
go in there as it is, we'll just dive right in.
I'm absolutely
You got the
sorry.
Carolina Panthers 1-11 going into the New Orleans Saints 5-7. New Orleans a 5-point favorite here, and the shocking news here is that Adam Thielen is leading the receiving yards for the Carolina Panthers.
Let's
Can
go.
can he receive their way to a victory here? What do you guys think?
Well, I can tell you without a shadow of a doubt when it comes to the Saints game, don't listen to whoever I end up picking because I'm probably 500, just like the Saints record is. I think the Saints win. I think they're a way better team. They just haven't played like it. The car is not going to be going out there. I think you see a lot more Taysom Hill. I think the Panthers could make it close by the end of the game, similar to the Bucks game. But to me, I don't really see a reason. But the Saints have found reasons plenty this season. But give me the Saints. I don't like the spread either way, really, and the over under. It's been a lot of unders with the Saints so far this season. But maybe with Taysom playing a bigger role, there can be some more points involved. Maybe Bryce coming along, there can be some more points involved. But yeah, only thing I like in this game is Saints winning. How about you, Ed?
So you guys heard me talk about Adam Thielen. That's pretty cool.
Who?
Adam.
What'd he
Thielen.
do?
He's leading. He's leading a receiver for the Panthers. So I'm gonna take the New Orleans Saints here because the Panthers are 0-7 on the road. It's not really been a good year for the Panthers in general. They signed big money with the running back there. Sanders come over. Chuba Hubbard is the leading rusher for them. Things just haven't gone well. They've battled injuries, and yeah, I'm taking the Saints here. I can't honestly take the Panthers, but I found that to be very interesting. It's still right now. Like Adam Thielen's the leading receiver for them. I mean, it's just crazy.
He's been a gem for fantasy owners across the league too, for the most part this season.
Seriously, I'm
I
gonna
mean,
take.
He's the veteran guy that can find the gaps and can make it easy for the young quarterback. So I think that's a big part playing into the fact, as well as the fact that there's really not much else to throw to out there.
Yeah,
Plus he's got really good hands. I'm taking the Saints here, giving up the points with the over here, potentially. Oh no. Yeah, the over. We're taking the over. Well, I don't know why, but that's what I wrote down. Adam Thielen, everyone.
All right. I'll take the upset here. I think Carolina gets their second victory here.
No way.
The Saints offense, it's been lackluster all season.
No way.
Now you're going to throw in Jameis Winston, who's, mistake prone and likes to take the risk. And the Panthers have a lot to prove here. Last week versus the Bucks, Chuba Hubbard was running full strength down the throat of the Buccaneers, who are a pretty good run defense, and they're a better run defense than the Saints are. So let him get moving again, let him get cooking, because they were even doing that when they were down by 2 scores. They didn't care. They kept running the ball and chugging along, and they eventually found a way to make the game close and competitive. So I think the Saints will make mistakes here. I think they'll give up points and yardage when they don't need to be, and the Carolina Panthers will steal a victory here to move to 2-11.
Let me
those are all safe bets, Brady. Definitely.
Let me take this, Charlie. It's LASIK eye surgery that Jameis Winston had on those eyes. So let's not downplay the fact that he can see better now. So
he obviously can't, because I watched the whole game of the Saints and the Lions, and the Saints came all the way back. Carr gets hurt, and Jameis comes in. All he's got to do is make a couple of easy reads. He had Olave open twice, and I mean open, and just missed him terribly. And it was just the Saints being the Saints.
The guy's got an arm.
I can't say the upset can't happen, Brady. I'm not mad at that.
Jameis has an arm, but again, I also think he has the attitude of, oh, this is my time, and then he's going to overdo it and try to make every throw.
Sure.
Like, oh, this is like, I think, like those miracle stories, like, oh, I got my shot, Kurt Warner, I got my shot, I took full advantage of it, I hit every pass. Like, I think in his mind, he's trying to do that when he doesn't need to do that.
Right.
No, plenty of talent there. Uh, yeah, I could definitely see it playing out like you said though. Fair
Alrighty,
enough.
though. Anything else to add for that one before we
Mm.
continue on?
I
Start
mean,
Taysom Hill if you got him. Definitely.
Yeah, especially if he's a tight end, available, limit, registered on your fantasies because he
Yeah.
isn't a lot of them. But next game here, another interesting with the quarterback battle. You got Josh Dobbs and the Minnesota Vikings, 6-6, going against Aiden O'Connell and the Las Vegas Raiders, who are 5-7. Minnesota's a 3-point favorite here. Um, who you guys like here? Which quarterback here has the better game?
I don't.
I, I actually like this match. I think this is gonna be a fun game. But I think I'm gonna side with the Raiders. I'm gonna side with the camaraderie, the good feels over there in Vegas, and the Vikings have put up a hell of a fight this season after losing Kirk Cousins, and Joshua Dobbs has been a beautiful story. But I think they're undermanned. They do get Jefferson back this week, which that's going to be a boost to them. But I like the Raiders. I like Jacobs. I like Adams. I like uh, what I've seen out of the O'Connell kid so far. Not flashy, not in the CJ Stroud stratosphere, but I think he's played nice, solid ball. I think he's got the arm strength to get the ball down the field, and he doesn't hesitate to get the ball to Devontae Adams, which was a problem for the Raiders at the beginning of the season sometimes. So, give me the Raiders here. Jacobs is running better nowadays, and I'll take the Raiders. How about you, Ed?
Yeah, just gonna have to sit here and I'm gonna take the Vikings. I'm gonna take the Vikings, giving up the points. Gonna take the
Adam
under.
Thielen.
Gonna take the Adam Thielen team that he used to play for because he used to be on the Minnesota Vikings. But I don't know. I guess there's a feel good story on both sides of the ball here. I'm gonna take the fact that there's not really much to like on either one of these teams. Alexander Madison again still does not have a touchdown. He almost has as many touches as he has yards. But I'm going to go ahead here. Josh Dobbs, hell of a story. That's what we're sticking to. Taking the points, giving them up on the under here, and I think Dobbs is going to be able to get it together here against this Raiders defense that has Max Crosby looking really good over there. But this is the week for Dobbs and the Vikes, man. This is it here. I wouldn't put any
Yeah,
money
it's a
on
big
this
game.
guy. I wouldn't. I'm saying, I'm gonna take the Vikings and the under, but if I were you, and the money was burning a hole in my pocket, I still wouldn't spend it on this game. How about you, Brady?
I think this one has potential to be exciting, actually, because if you look at the Raiders versus KC just 2 weeks ago, it was competitive until the second half hit, and KC ran away with it. It was a pretty tight game, and everyone for a second there was like, is KC going to lose to the Raiders right now? Like, is that going to happen?
They were competitive against Miami the
They
previous
were
week too.
competitive, yeah, absolutely. And in Minnesota on the other side of the ball, ugly matchup, but divisional versus the Chicago Bears. And the week before that, they had the Denver Broncos. It was a tight battle, and then they had a lot of big, high-scoring games before that. So I think this one can go on the over. I think both teams coming off the bye, they get extra playing time. They get to pick apart each team's weak defense. So I can see this one going on the over, but I think Minnesota will edge it out. But I probably slide it by just like a 1-point victory. So I'd give the Raiders covering.
I like it a lot. I like it a lot, Brady. Yeah, I kind of shade towards the over too. I had the over pegged, and then I kind of circled back on it, and I'm like, eh. But after hearing you talk about the things that I originally thought about, I agree. I think the over is a solid play in that one.
Good. Anything else to add here?
I said Brock Purdy is.
Yeah.
Just don't play Alexander Madison. We agree. We can
It's
agree on
funny.
that.
I real quick, not to deviate, but I was watching some of our prediction show from the season, and one thing that stood out to me was Eddie talking about the fact that they let Cook walk out the door and replacing that with Alexander Madison, and how they must have so much faith in him to let that transpire and go through. It's funny because it feels like Ed brings up the fact that he hasn't scored a touchdown every single week, and he still hasn't scored touchdowns. Facts is facts.
Facts is facts.
Are they even giving him the
Alrighty.
ball anymore? I mean, I don't even.
Got more touches than yards, you said. So
That's
yeah,
what it
he's eating.
seems like. That's what it seems like.
That's what it seems.
That's what it seems
All
like.
right. We'll keep it going, though. Another potentially tough battle here. I think it'll be a lot tougher than what Vegas has it listed as, where you got the Seattle Seahawks, 6-6, going in the San Francisco 49ers, 9-3. San Francisco, like I said, 10.5-point favorite here, but Seattle just gave Cowboys a run for their money. But, 49ers proven who they are and will beat up anybody. So do you think they can beat up the Seahawks here? You think divisional, the coaching, the extra film, and all the how they play? You think that factors in, and the Seahawks can give them a run for their money? What do you think?
As much as I'm not a believer in the Seattle Seahawks, I do not like that 10.5 point spread, as well as the 49ers have been playing. I think, this is kind of the season for the Seahawks right here. They got to throw everything in the kitchen sink at the Niners. Um, and I really think there's the potential for a big time upset there. Um, I'm gonna go Niners. I definitely give me the points with Seattle because I think this just means too much to them at this point in the season. They can't take another loss with the Rams, chugging up the ladder. The Packers on fire right now. They're gonna be left on the doorstep if they can't find a way to get a dub here. I feel like so. I'll take the Niners to win, but I think there's the possibility for one of those big upsets that we see every now and then. um, and definitely take the Seahawks with the points. How about you, Ed?
Yeah. No, after I watched the 49ers game and watched what the 49ers did to the Eagles at home, who were trying. I just can't consciously make that decision and think that they're gonna just because they're a divisional opponent. You didn't show me that you got any better since the last time you've played the 49ers. It's just too soon. I'm just taking the 49ers here with the points and the over. If there's a way that that offense could score some points, they'll score a little bit here, a little bit there, but it'll probably end up being in garbage time and it won't matter. I'm taking the points and the over for the 49ers. They're just too dominant right now, and it's that time of the year. So when a team like the 49ers with a roster like they have is clicking like they did against the Eagles, who at that point in time were being argued as the best team in the NFL, or at least one of the best teams in the NFL, and they just trample them like they did at home. It's tough. Now you're going back home to play a divisional opponent that you're just going to try and chip up. I am worried, though, injuries. This could literally be weird type of game where the 49ers end up coming out on top, but potentially sustaining some things that end up lingering later on down the line. But I just don't see the Seahawks pulling this one out since the last time they played each other 31-13. How about you, Brave?
Yeah, I mean, I absolutely love San Francisco here. I think it could be a repeat of just a couple weeks ago where they absolutely throttled them. But I also, in that same breath, want to hold it back and be like, I'm worried at the sake, for the sake of 49ers, that you just beat up the best team, arguably the best team in the NFL. Are you out partying now because you're like, oh, hey, we're number one, no one can touch us, and then you just completely overlook this team that you beat up, and then like, oh, hey, no, we want revenge, and I can picture that in my head because it happened like 3 or 4 times last season where like the number one team actually beat the crap out of somebody. It happened this year too. You look at the Miami Dolphins beating up the Denver Broncos, and then the next week they got to face the Bills, and the Bills absolutely stomped them. So you can't overlook your opponent ahead of you, and I'm afraid that San Francisco could do that here, but it being divisional gives it a little bit of hope that they're not going to do that. But I would still ride San Francisco to win it, but I don't like the 10.5. I think I'd go Seahawks here. Um, just kind of with my argument there that Seahawks have a lot to prove, and with Charlie saying like they need a victory here, and if the Rams can win there at 1 o'clock versus the Ravens, you got to do something, because if you don't, then you're on your way out. You're already on a 3-game losing streak right now, so you got to figure something out. But I like San Francisco here.
Yeah, it actually happened to the 49ers this year too, and I was thinking after I made the talk that I just did after they beat the Cowboys, 42 to or 40, yeah, 42 to 10. The next three games, L's. They lost to the Browns, they lost to the Vikings, they've lost to the Bengals. So I'm sure Shanahan, being the killer coach that he is going to slap that on the board and be like, "Hey guys, get together." But they do have some of those personalities, the Debo Samuels and stuff like that, that can get overexcited about some things, and you definitely want to stay focused. This is not one that's San Francisco wants to let slip through their fingers, but bringing it together with the divisional matchup and stuff, and the fact that you just beat them, I think 10.5 is a little high, and
They
the
didn't
upset.
they didn't score a touchdown. The last time they played each other, they didn't score a touchdown. The defense intercepted the ball, ran it back for a touchdown. Offensively, Seattle didn't score a touchdown. They kicked 2 field goals.
And then they went back and they put up 30 points on Dallas and their good defense. So I mean, it's Seattle's got the potential to put points up. I mean, I agree. The odds and the eyeball tests say San Francisco all day long. Agree.
Yeah, absolutely. Alrighty, though. That one should be interesting, or could be interesting. But the next one absolutely should be, where you got the Buffalo Bills 6-6 going into the Kansas City Chiefs, who are 8-4. KC is only a 1.5 point favorite here at home. How do you guys feel about that? Because Vegas, we said or Charlie's touched on it before. Like Vegas technically gives you 2 for being at home, so you're sliding a little bit here with the Bills and the way that they're able to compete with everybody and play with the best of them and play with the worst of them. Sorry, I got to say it, but it's true. How do you think this one works out? What do you guys think?
This was really tough. I mean, it's a huge game with these teams. And one thing I know after watching, the past couple of seasons with this particular matchup, the Bills and Chiefs, the Bills are not intimidated by the Chiefs. They've probably been the only team in the league that has not been afraid to go head to head with the Chiefs. They don't lack the confidence coming into this game. If I recall correctly, Eddie, maybe you could fact check me. The Bills beat the Chiefs last season. I think it was
24 to 20.
in Arrowhead as well. So the Bills aren't scared here. It comes down to the same old, same old. Can the Bills execute and when it matters? And man, I had the Chiefs. Um, I, I'm gonna stay Chiefs just because the Bills have yet to consistently do the things that I need to see them do. I'm gonna take the Chiefs, but I could see the Bills putting the smack down and win by 10 on the Chiefs here too. I could see a world where that happens. So this is a really toss up game. I'm gonna take the Chiefs at home. I wouldn't even drop the 1.5 because I think it would be that close if they win. But I definitely think Buffalo can go in there, and I definitely think Buffalo could hammer them by 10, just because of the way the Chiefs' offense has been playing and executing on the other side of the ball. So uh, I'll leave it to you, Ed.
No doubt. Bills are 1-4 away. Chiefs are 4-2 at home. So it does leave room for this to transpire. Plus, if you're not scared of the Chiefs, which it kind of seems like no one really is this year, um, the fact that they beat Philly, and the way they did by 4, I mean, it just goes to show that there isn't that much complete separation around the league.
For sure.
Really, right now, it just seems like the separation in the NFC East is so great. I feel like the AFC, the teams are a lot tighter than the teams are in the NFC. But with all that being said, and as crazy as a season the Chiefs and the Bills have had, I have to go with Andy Reid. I have to go with Tay. I have to go with Mahomes. I'm going with the Chiefs. I'm taking the points. The Chiefs giving the points. And I'll take the over in this game just in case for some reason, some way, somehow this this Kansas City defense that's ranked number 4 up against this number 4 ranked offense of the Buffalo Bills somehow doesn't show up and doesn't show out. How about you feel, Braid? How do you feel about this one?
This one's tough, and if when I was looking at it, I want to go Bills here. I like what the Bills are capable of, and the Chiefs just aren't as exciting as they used to be. But I'd feel way more confident picking the Bills if the Chiefs didn't just get beat by Green Bay. So I think the fact that the Chiefs just lost, they're coming back home. They're like, listen, if we want a shot at another Super Bowl here, we got to start winning this game, and it starts here with your biggest rival of the Buffalo Bills. So I think it's a get right game for the Kansas City Chiefs. I think it might even be like a trendsetter for them at this end. Like, hey, look, we're top notch still, and I think the Chiefs can win this one by by a large margin, just because they need something to prove that they are still who they are.
Thinking about it, listening to you guys, I'm flipping back to the Bills. I'm gonna take it.
Taking the Bills.
I feel the Bills A game is better than the Chiefs A game this season. So I like the chances. I'll err on the caution or on the side of I get an A game from the Bills because they really need it. And yeah, the back-to-back losses, you ain't lying. That really doesn't happen under this regime of Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes. Rarely do you find them going on a two-game losing streak. So that does cause me for pause. But I'm gonna flip back over
Hasn't
to the
happened
Bills. I
once
feel
this
like they
year.
can get this one. It hasn't happened in a couple of seasons. I don't think that they've lost two in a row that I
They
can
lost the
remember.
first one and won 1, 2, 3, 4, 5,
Yeah, I
6
mean,
straight.
yeah, of recent, they're lose win loss. So
Yeah, I mean, it fits right in.
as the pattern rotates, it's a W here for them, and a strong one. But we'll see.
No
Next
doubt.
4 o'clock game here, final one. You got the Denver Broncos 6-6 going into the Los Angeles Chargers 5-7. Chargers are a 3-point favorite here at home. That's a little shocking considering the game they just showed you there versus New England. What do you guys think here? You think they're going to score 6 again and hold the Broncos to only 3?
I do like the under in this game. I don't know if it's that far under. The Broncos can score. um, this is kind of a de facto playoff game almost. The Bolts lose this one, and their chances are pretty much cooked. It's such a congested AFC. We did our question earlier in the week, and I went down about 5 teams that I included into the question, and the Chargers were underneath even the Bengals. You know what I mean? So it's very dim playoff hope wise for the Chargers to get back to the playoffs where they were last year. They look like they haven't recovered from that loss from Jacksonville. I'm gonna go Broncos here. I think it's a dogfight. The way the Broncos have been playing, though, I don't see them losing 2 games. We've talked about it off camera, on camera, about the stability that former champions bring with the coaching staff there and Russ Wilson, 2 guys that know how to win and don't mind sacrificing personal accolades in order to get there. And they've executed better than the Chargers on a week-to-week basis on both sides of the ball, which is surprising when you look over there and you look at Justin Herbert. But I think there's too much dysfunctional stuff going over there in the Chargers organization. So I feel better taking the Broncos. I like the under. I don't know if I'm touching well, I guess Broncos are the underdog. So how about you, Abe?
Yeah, yeah. I'm taking the Broncos here. I'm taking the under, and I'm okay with taking the 3 points that they're being given from the Chargers.
That's
You
a
take a
surprise that
yeah,
the Broncos aren't favored, honestly.
yeah.
Just to jump.
You take a look at the last handful of games that they played. They beat Cleveland. They beat Minnesota. They beat Buffalo and Kansas City. They lost to the Texans, which you're just like you scratch your head. You're like, I mean,
1 score game though. One-score game, and they had it in the red zone.
Yeah, and you're just like, man, it's like, are the Chargers going to put up that much of a fight? I mean, Cleveland had the #1 defense, and they still put up 29 points on them. And then Minnesota slugfest, 21-20. I don't know. The dismal performance against a very underperforming New England Patriots defense and New England Patriots offense. They don't score a touchdown, but you could see how well of a coach Belichick is to allow Justin Herbert to not even score a touchdown. I mean, that's crazy to me. Or a touchdown and a missed field goal of extra point. Whatever it was, 6 points. What is this, a baseball game? Is this a hockey game? What is this? What are we watching here? That's just crazy to me. And they're trending up. They're in the trending. Every time I pick them, they never win. I'm taking the Broncos with the points on the under here. I don't know. How about you, Braid? They never friggin' win for me.
No, I'll be with you guys. I'll ride with you guys on the Broncos.
That's
We'll
right.
sweep it here. Broncos here, they're just playing better ball right now, and they're on the up. The Chargers, they're just so inconsistent. You're not sure what you're going to get. Even when they win, it's not pretty. So at least with the Broncos, I know both sides of the ball can put a full game together and take a victory here. So I like the Broncos, and as you touched on, the coaching, the quarterback, they're not going to get the butterflies. They can do the drives. They can put it together. I think Herbert needs a better mastermind behind him before I can actually start having a little bit of faith in this Chargers team. So I'm going Denver Broncos.
I agree.
Austin Eckler been a ghost this year. I know he's been banged up a couple of weeks,
It's because
but
I drafted him.
it's just I looked at the stat line too on that game. Definitely glad that I never turned it on. But I looked at the stat line, to see was there a lot of turnovers, what exactly caused this. And it was just poor execution, for the Chargers. Herbert didn't throw any picks, but third downs and just keeping the ball moving, they just can't do it. And you still got Keenan Allen out there. You still got Austin Eckler out there. You've got weapons. And something hadn't looked right with the Chargers all year long. We talked about it with that question about who do you take in franchise wise last week with Patriots or Chargers, and it's like it's tough, man. It's tough. Chargers don't look great.